has brought us all together today in the flesh. In the flesh. It is important that we start this day with a very deep sense of gratitude over what we have overcome and what we'll accomplish in the years to come. You know, I'm here to talk about our journey in Salad Master. And that journey started in the early part of 2015. I remember vividly as if it was just yesterday. My husband, Emmanuel, my son, Kristen, way back then, 2 years old, and I were driving a 7-hour long drive from a weird place in Canada called Saskatchewan to a place with a much weirder climate called Winnipeg. That is the start of this journey. You know, there was nothing. It was flat prairie land. And I remember what we saw, the most eventful thing that we would see in that 7-hour long drive was a passing train, because my son would go choo-choo endlessly until he sees the next passing train. That was quite an eventful, but that was the start of a very eventful 7 years. Winnipeg, a population of 800,000, median income quite low. You will never expect the top dealership in the world to come from that place. That place, Winnipeg, would be successful consultants, distributors, direct dealers, and senior dealers will trace their origin. I'm so proud, really. I'm so proud of what the aprons have accomplished. They come in different colors. I have to literally hand paint my suit with different colors so I can just put them all together, because the aprons I carry so much with so much pride.
Rainbow!
Guys, it all started because Emma and myself had a very strong resolve to build. When we were building, we were actually just building our own dreams. And never did we realize that as we dream, we are actually capable of carrying so much more dreams of others that have anchored their dreams upon the dream that we built 7 years ago. That becomes self-evident in this room today. So I will tell you how to build. We know how to build. When you think about the word build, what comes into your mind? What is the process look like? What is your visual imagery of the word build? In our business, building is entrenched in the Spirit of Success program, right? We all become owners, associate, and we move up to senior consultants, distributor, and so on. That's building in a quasi-technical sense, but that's not what I'm going to share with you today. Number one, building is painful. Building is painful. Yes, Abby and Paul, it can render you sleepless. It can render you in shock and utter disbelief. Yes, Mathilde, it can bring you tears in the middle of the night. It's painful. You know, when we started, we were doing okay in Saskatchewan. Our first 2 months, we're delivering about 25 sets per month under the leadership of Mr. Andrew Fritz, who was our former regional manager. 2 months into the business, I would get a call from the Philippines. I was told that my father would be in the ICU and needed care. I asked my husband, "Sweetie, can I go?" And he said, "Of course, you have to go." So I went home. Two weeks after I came back, that day that I landed in Canada, I would get a call from the doctor telling me, "You know, your dad won't last 24 hours. And he did pass on that same day. Emman packed his bag. Kristen and I had to go back home to the Philippines again. We were gone for a total of 4 weeks. So when he came back, despite my mourning, I pulled out all the 16 quarts from the cupboard. I'm not a great cook, but I tried. I cooked a feast to serve at an open house. 7 p.m. came. Nobody was showing up. 7:30 came. Nobody was showing up. 8, I gave up. I put all the food uneaten in the fridge. 9 p.m., a couple showed up on our driveway. I said, what happened? Where is everybody? Didn't they know that we had an open house? He told me, nobody's coming, Tina. Nobody's coming. Because when you were gone, rumors were circulating that you're not able to pay commission, you're not even able to process orders and deliver cookware. And I go, of course I was gone. We were starting. I was a lawyer, but I was the only person managing all the administrative work of the business when we were beginning, and my husband was taking care of the sales. There was only 2 of us and a handful of consultants. Of course, nothing was getting done. I was away, but I was not away on a trip. I was away to mourn the passing of my father. I couldn't fathom how cruel people could be. For 2 weeks, we paid all our commissions, we delivered the cookware. We waited a few more weeks. Nothing was happening. We could not wait. We could not wait. We cannot afford to wait. That started that 7-hour long drive from Winnipeg. And of course, the rest is history. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not felt this searing kind of pain in the process of building, that means you have not built hard enough. And if you already experienced some kind of pain, know that it is part of a meaningful journey, and you shall overcome. Okay. Number 2, building takes courage. Building takes courage. I remember October of 2015 in one of our open houses, I sold for the very first time. An executive chef said, I didn't even know how it looked like. Somebody wanted to order who never attended a dinner show and just saw the opportunity at our open house. 2 months later, that same woman would come to me and said, Madam, I want to start a team in Vancouver. And I said, are you sure? Are you ready to leave Winnipeg, leave your family, and an ill son who was confined at a home care facility in Winnipeg? She said, yes, I am ready. I said, what help do you need? Just give me some gas money and I'm on my way. Armed with a suitcase full of cookware, a suitcase of clothes, and a load full of courage and boldness, Tita Dinah Reyes drove from Winnipeg to Vancouver, 24 hours stretch by herself, and planted the green apron flag in Vancouver. The rest is history. She would be the #1 direct dealer in the world in November and December of last year. Earned her senior dealership as of January of 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, courage is contagious. Courage is contagious. Somebody said, when a man or a woman takes a courageous stand, the spines of those unwilling is stiffened. When you are building with courage, nobody can defy you. Number 3, building takes consistent hard work. Abby Ajayi joined our business 5 years ago. She's a full-time job as a business analyst, has 2 young kids. She was the most hardworking woman I've ever seen in my life. Consistently. Abby, when she was with the Green Apron, never missed an open house, never missed a meeting, never missed a training. I can count in the in my fingers the times of the weekends that she never cooked. She did 30-30 as a matter of personal standard. The results are self-evident. Abian called the royal apron from zero, from the rat dealer to a grandmaster dealer in 2022. My husband, 2-peat, God willing, will be 3-peat diamond elite. Drives 3 hours amidst winter storm to cook a dinner show. 2 weeks ago, he was so mad at me. Why am I still driving? Because he went there, he drove 3 hours to northern Manitoba, and he got there and he was denied access because the people had COVID. And he went home empty-handed. And I told him, because sweetie, we build and rebuild on a consistent basis. Day in and day out, we build. Number 4, I'm giving you so much tip, but I'm close to that. Number 4, building takes some sense of urgency. It does not matter what your level is, how far you have become. Whether you have been slow or you have been slowed, it does not matter. As Andrew Clark said, today is the day to make a decision. How will you sprint to your future? How will you sprint to tomorrow? There's no waiting. Do you know why? Because when we were making that drive to Winnipeg, there was a Nigerian family who was arriving to Canada from the UK. Well educated, but poor and new in Canada. They had 2 children. They cannot even afford to buy a $5 gallon milk. They have to share a bus pass because it's just way too expensive. Last year in the summer, the wife booked a business class flight from their place to Vancouver to attend a meeting. And as the section of the business class closes off, her son, which is my son's best friend, goes, "Mom, are they closing off the section for us, and will there be food that will be served?" And he said, "Yes, Stephen, we are special. We have arrived." Ladies and gentlemen, Janet Oladuwe, the purple apron from Edmonton, Alberta. Had she waited longer, would that day ever come? Lastly, building is so meaningful. It is so meaningful because it allows you to see the bigger and better version of the people around you. You, the builder, sees it in other people when nobody sees it. In Vancouver, we had the opportunity to meet these openly gay women who were in a monogamous relationship. They're barely 5 feet tall, both of them. They are shy, no sales experience, right? No sales experience. But Emin and I saw their potential. We saw their potential. In 6 months, this couple would move from a new owner to a distributor, helping us build our Vancouver team. The day that he was promoted to distributor, I brought him to a Mercedes-Benz dealership. I said, "Go, Noli, pick a car." He said, "Madam, I don't even drive." "I don't care, just pick a car." Pick a car. We are going home with a Mercedes car today. And he goes, "Madam, how do I pay?" I said, "We'll go through the numbers. We'll figure it out. I want you to go home with a Mercedes-Benz." Guys, that was history. Since then, he had upgraded to another Mercedes-Benz, bought their second condominium unit in Vancouver, the most expensive real estate in the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be Noli and Juliet from the Blue Apron, now senior dealers from Vancouver. Ruben Calasan from the Pink Apron in Alberta. He was openly gay, and he told me, "I will be the first openly gay dealer in North America." And I said, "Go for it." when I said, now, 2021 is your year. Don't wait any longer. You have to do it now. And now he is a direct dealer. Finally, being number one, we do appreciate your praises and congratulatory messages. But make no mistake, it doesn't get to my head, but it gets to my heart. When I was asked to speak, and I said I owe it to the people who will listen to me, they wanted to hear from no less a Diamond Elite Master Dealer. And I said, how will I make this meaningful to everybody? The only way I can give justice to it is to give meaning to it and to express it in the most eloquent manner possible so that people will understand what it is all about. I will share with you a discovery. Since we became dealers, we always knew that Ben Bowler and Richard Lewis are the #1 dealers in the world. They are great guys from Australia. They always had been since the beginning of our dealership. And in 2019, we attended the International Dealers Retreat in Arizona. And to my surprise, when they called the ranking as of June of 2019, mid-year, they said the Green Apron, Richard and Ben first is #2, and Emin and I as #1 dealer. June of 2019, like, I was shocked. Like, I knew we were good, but not that good. And then, I went home. We went home. And what I saw it was within shooting distance. It's kind of within reach. But I saw a glass ceiling. I saw that we cannot achieve it. Not the Green Apron, not Emin and myself. It was always Ben Bowler and Richard Lewis. 2020 came. I said, I put an imaginary ladder. I would see #1, but I would still see a glass ceiling. COVID came, and the aprons just created a massive wave of, virtual dinner shows. Every month, I would step higher on that ladder, and I would see the glass ceiling. I could almost feel it. I could almost feel its coldness against my palm. It was there. The months came. The Green Apron was still dominating. And I said, shoot, it's really within reach. December came. I knew we were dominating. But in my head, I could see that glass ceiling. December came. I was on top of that imaginary ladder. And I touched the ceiling. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I didn't shatter a ceiling because it was never there in the first place. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no ceiling. There is no ceiling to what all of us can achieve. There is none. I am telling you, there is none. It all existed in my brain and in my heart. It was all this false belief. It was all this doubt. It was all this hesitation and doubting that made me see an invisible ceiling and made me saw the world that never was. The rest is history, right? The Green Apron, with God's grace, will become a 3-peat Diamond Elite Master. You go home. Let's all go home. And with the tips I gave you, render your life first meaningful. And then you become an anchor for more meaningful lives to come. And it starts with building your dreams. There is no limit to what you can do. There's no limit to the number of lives that you can change, to the number of families and even generations that what you do that what you need to do today can make. But do it massively. Do it massively and urgently, because the world is waiting and the world is hungry for it. Thank you very much.